Wide shot. The large ship rests at the dock, its steel hull still gleaming under the morning sun, surrounded by sailors who move with the ease of those who've made the sea their home. A narrow gangway connects the vessel to the pier, creaking and worn from constant use. In the distance, life pulses through the fishing port, nets spread out, boats moored, and people rushing between markets and warehouses. Close up. Max walks with steady steps, his dark figure cutting through the light, the wind tugging gently at his long coat. The ship rocks beneath his feet, but he moves without hesitation, as if his balance were absolute. Behind him, Caliop follows, gripping both railings of the gangway with tense hands. Her steps are careful, almost unsure, every movement heavy with disbelief and confusion. She scans the port, trying to understand how she ended up here, in a reality so far from what she once knew. Everything feels like a blurred dream. A hazy memory of the night before, in some bar, drinking and laughing sarcastically at the absurdity of talking about trolls and unknown destinies. Dagmar, the dog, is the last to cross. He walks slowly, pausing to sniff every corner, as if the port were an open book filled with stories waiting to be discovered. His white fur glistens under the sun, and suddenly, he bounds playfully in a burst of joy, celebrating the return to solid ground, only to stop just as abruptly, alert and watchful. Max continues without looking back, heading toward the fishing village. It's a modest settlement, with weathered wooden houses and smoking chimneys that fill the air with the scent of salt and fish. A place shaped by hard work, but also by forgotten tales hidden within aging walls. Driven by frustration and the need for answers, Caliop pulls hard on Max's backpack, forcing him to stop in his tracks. Caliop, exasperated. Do you realize I don't even remember how I got on that ship? Max stopped and, without fully turning around, glanced at her out of the corner of his eye with an unsettling calm. Max, low, steady tone. Let me remind you, you got on the ship on your own 2 feet. When you're drunk, you become a bit more adventurous. And when you passed out, Dagmar took care of you, practically dragged you to the shore. Let's just say, he's not your average dog. Caliop couldn't help a dry, ironic chuckle, shaking her head as if nothing could surprise her anymore. Caliop, with a crooked smile. At this point, nothing shocks me. Looking at Dagmar, who watches her intently, as if he truly understood her tone. I was starting to like you. She growls playfully at him. Dagmar lowers his ears but doesn't move, quietly waiting for her next move. His gaze seems to say he understands for more than she could ever guess. Watching them, Max lets out a long, patient sigh, like an adult dealing with 2 mischievous kids. Max, firm, but not unkind. Come on. We've still got a long way to go. I need to see a friend here. And don't forget your pack. Dagmar will find me if you fall behind. Max continued walking without waiting for a reply. Dagmar hesitated for a moment, glancing back at her, then chose to follow Max. Caliop watched them go, then let out a deep sigh. Caliop, muttering as she adjusts her backpack. Always in a hurry, huh? What the hell is going on here? With a resigned step, she hurried after them, knowing that, whether she liked it or not, her life had taken an inexplicable turn into the unknown. Exterior, auto workshop. An aging building stood among rusted-out vehicles and half-dismantled fishing boats, surrounded by the thick smell of burnt oil and corroded metal. Faded Cyrillic signs hung precariously above the door. The kind of place where anything with an engine got a second life. Interior, workshop. The chaos was total, engine parts scattered across the floor, open oil cans, and an old radio dangling from a wire, crackling out Russian music mixed with static. The walls, stained with grease, were plastered with faded posters of car models and old calendars. Beneath a beat-up truck, the clink of tools and metal echoed through the space. Exhausted, Caliop entered with her backpack still on. She let out a frustrated sigh and dropped it to the floor with a dull thud. Max, in Russian, firmly. Victor. The noise beneath the truck stopped abruptly. A gruff voice muttered something in Russian before a burly man with a weathered face and a scruffy beard slid out from under the vehicle. His hard stare softened the moment he met Max's eyes. They approached each other slowly, tension thick in the air, until suddenly, they broke into a loud, brotherly embrace, laughing boisterously. Caliop. Oh, hi, guys. Max pulled away from their hug, slipping back into his usual composure. Max. Victor, this is Caliop. Astrologer extraordinaire. Caliop, this is Victor, mechanic and part-time smuggler. Victor wiped his greasy hands on a filthy rag, then shook Caliop's hand with a firm grip. Victor. Pleasure is mine. If friend of Max, then you friend too. Feel at home. They moved toward a battered table surrounded by makeshift chairs. Victor settled into an old truck seat like it was a throne, then shouted in his deep, booming voice. Victor. Yvonne. A chubby young man, covered in tattoos and wearing a grease-stained jumpsuit, appeared almost immediately. After a short, brusque exchange in Russian, Ivan vanished and returned moments later with a tray full of local pastries, a bottle of vodka, and a few small glasses. Caliop. No, thanks. Last time I drank that stuff. I woke up on another continent. Victor burst into laughter and dipped a pastry straight into his vodka before taking a satisfied bite. Victor. If Max is here, it means two things, money for me, and trouble for you. Max gave a faint smile, ignoring the jab. Max. I need a rugged vehicle. We're heading into the woods, rocky terrain. Something discreet. Survival gear. And you, if you're available. Victor scratched his beard with a greasy hand, thinking it over. Victor. I can pull, how do you say? Strings? Gee's expensive. Not cheap. But Ivan, almost free. Max. You were never cheap. Victor raised a hand, revealing a stump, his face half serious, half joking. Victor. See this? His fault. And if you need more proof. He starts unbuckling his belt. Caliop, covering her face, mortified. Okay. I get it. Victor grinned, flashing a gold tooth. Victor. Payment in gold. Double. Bribes around here aren't cheap. Equipment's rented, if it gets lost, more expensive. Max. Deal. They shook hands with near-titanic force, sealing the agreement. Victor. You sleep here tonight. We leave early tomorrow. As Victor barked orders at Ivan, who clumsily scurried around the workshop, the place filled with the sounds of rough laughter, Russian music, and that unmistakable scent of oil, and adventure. After sealing the deal at the garage, Victor led Max and Caliop down a narrow, snow-covered trail toward his home, a rustic cabin of wood and stone, nestled among the trees and wrapped in the stillness of the Siberian night. The warm glow spilling from the windows offered a comforting contrast to the biting cold outside. Interior, Victor's cabin. Their home was cozy and full of character, a reflection of Victor's adventurous spirit. The walls were lined with travel mementos, hanging tools, and a few hunting trophies. Dot from the hunt. Every step across the aged wooden floor came with a gentle creak. Victor, smiling broadly, pointed upstairs. Victor. Rooms are ready up there. Caliop, yours is on the right. Max, you already know. Rest well, tomorrow's a long day. Caliop nodded gratefully and climbed the creaky stairs, weighed down by the fatigue of the journey. She pushed open the door to her room and found a simple but cozy space, a large bed covered in a thick wool blanket, dark wooden furniture, and a foggy window that revealed the frozen night outside. She dropped her backpack to the floor and sat on the mattress, a smile of relief forming on her face. She moved toward the small adjoining bathroom, its door slightly ajar revealing a modest sink and a fogged-up mirror. As she shut the door, the sound of running water followed, the soft rhythm of brushing teeth. The camera stays in the room. The front doorknob turns slowly. The wood creaks. The door opens quietly, and Ivan, half shrouded in shadow, peeks his head in. His eyes scan the room and land on Caliop's backpack. He steps in silently and rummages through it, eventually finding a wristwatch. The soft click of the bathroom door interrupts him. Caliop emerges, and freezes at the sight. Their eyes meet. A tense silence grips the room. Ivan raises his hand slightly, mumbling awkwardly in Russian, trying to defuse the moment as he steps back. A low growl shatters the stillness. The camera turns to the door, now slightly open, two eyes gleam in the dark. Dagmar stands there, fur bristling, teeth bared in a silent threat. The growl is ancient, instinctual, a warning. Without looking away from Ivan, Caliop speaks with icy calm. Caliop. You'd better get the hell out of here and never come near me again. Dagmar, as if understanding every word, lets out a thunderous bark. Ivan stumbles back, muttering clumsy Russian curses, and slips out the door, slamming it behind him. Caliop lets out a deep breath, leaning back against the wall. Then she kneels down and strokes Dagmar's head. He wags his tail with devotion. Caliop. All right, friend. I forgive you for the whole boat thing. Wanna sleep with me tonight? Dagmar answers with a big, wet lick that pulls a laugh from her. Caliop. Okay. I get it. Cabin of wood and stone stood tall among snow-covered pines, aged but unshaken by time. In the freezing morning air, every breath turned to mist. Max, backpack slung over his shoulder, walked across the porch with steady steps. Behind him, Caliop pulled her coat tighter around her, visibly uncomfortable in the cold. Victor waited at the steps, hands in his pockets, his expression serious but warm. Victor, in Russian. Good morning. Here's the gear you asked for. Also the bribes. He hands Max a set of documents. The authorities shouldn't give you trouble. There's food for several days too. Ivan's just finishing loading the truck. Come with me. Garage, moments later. Amid oily shadows and the ever-present stench of burnt oil sat an old military truck, its chassis marked by years of rough use. Ivan, his hands coarse and his face surly, was loading crates and backpacks with gruff, purposeful motions. Max raised an eyebrow as he eyed the vehicle, clearly skeptical. Victor, patting the hood with nostalgic pride. It's what's inside that matters. Old Nikita always finds her way home. Caliop, with hesitation. You're not coming with us? With his back turned, Victor lifted his stump in farewell. Victor. No. Safe travels, and good luck. You'll need it, little one. Road, aerial view. The truck crawled along a rough path of mud and stone, struggling through the vast Siberian taiga. An endless sea of fir trees and mist-covered mountains swallowed the horizon, silent and unrelenting. End of the trail, dusk. Ivan slammed the brakes and brought the truck to a jarring stop. He stepped out, lit a cigarette with indifference, and began tossing gear from the back. Max. We'll set up camp before night falls. Caliop, complaining. Is it much farther?